Little by little, day by day, in a world where carbon emissions equal life extinction, carbon emissions shape the destiny of our planet. Or is it?
Carbon emissions are one of the largest contributors to climate change. This can come naturally or from human sources. Activities such as deforestation, burning of fossil fuels, and pollution from transportations are examples of unnatural sources.
Our food chain as well as the environment won't be whole without the fauna or the animal kingdom. They are the ones responsible for regulating the energy cycle in our planet. Animals play their major role to fulfill the system needs.
But what is a carbon cycle?
Carbon cycle is responsible for cycling the carbon element coming from animal decompositions, fossils, the sea, and much more. Carbon is also the main reason why we have an exact amount of temperature, providing energy sources to balance the harmony and food chain of our ecosystem and keeping our planet a habitable place for us humans.
How can this affect the animals?
It affects the animal kingdom, the habitat loss, the change in shifts in migration of these animals because of the unnatural changes in their environment, the decrease of food availability because of the effect of this emission to the resource of the animals, a threat to marine life, and more. So, the interconnection of carbon emission to the animal kingdom shouldn't be taken lightly. It affects their habitat negatively and it leaves a significant impact to the ecosystem as well as to their biodiversity.
The importance of animals to the environment is something that is often overlooked when discussing protecting and caring about the environment. The extinction of a single species can devastate entire ecosystems, creating irreversible damage that is frequently unforeseeable. Bat species serve an important role in maintaining insect populations and controlling pest populations, such as mosquitoes. This function is likely most significant in the agriculture sector, where insects can infect animals and ruin crops. Seals and sea lions rely on specific fish and marine life species for survival. When the temperature changes, these species shift their schooling grounds, making it more difficult for seals and sea lions to prey on them.
Why do we even need these animals?
Animals, from the tiniest insect to the mightiest predators, play a crucial role in the delicate balance that keep life on our planet alive. There are several reasons why we can't live without them. Animals contribute to the Earth's great diversity of life, which is crucial for preserving ecological harmony and enhancing resistance to environmental change. Some of which are for the benefit of agriculture and food production, such as pollination, seed dissemination, and pest control. Medicine wouldn't be possible without animals, as they contribute to the medical advancement we have today, and it also serves as a crucial source of nutrition for humans.
Historically, in ecosystem ecology, people said animals didn't matter, argues Oswald Schmitz, a population and community ecology professor at Yale School of Environmental Studies. Because all living organisms are composed of carbon, they function as carbon reservoirs throughout their lives. The more carbon is stored, the larger and longer-lived an animal. Take, for example, wolves. They are an important predator, although their impact on carbon sequestration varies greatly depending on the environment in which they hunt.
How are animals affected by the carbon cycle?
Carbon affects animals through plants and water. With herbivores, we have animals whose diet mainly consists of plants, and so they eat these plants which have carbon stored in them. And now, next, we have the carnivores, which will eventually eat these herbivores and thus absorb the carbon within these herbivores for themselves. All plants and animals should die at some point. And when they die, they undergo the state of decomposition. And during the state of decomposition, all of their carbon must be released. Some of the carbon are released upwards, which is how they should be for them to naturally escape through the Earth's atmosphere. However, there is a good chunk of this carbon that remains with the corpse of the dead animal or plant, and thus it is released. Instead of upwards, it goes downwards to the soil. The carbon cycle is supposed to be a normal cycle of the Earth. However, only recently the cycle has been disrupted by us humans digging up these remains of the dead animals that have since become fuel for us, called fossil fuels. And as we dig up all these fossil fuels from the ground, we release all this carbon that is hidden underground and release them into the atmosphere, doubling the amount of carbon in our air. There is a chain effect that comes with the presence of too much carbon in our atmosphere. Of course, this affects our animals as well. One of the primary effects of too much carbon in our atmosphere is respiratory distress. This is not an overnight effect. It takes time. But certainly, at some point, our animals would find it very hard to breathe because there is too much carbon in our atmosphere and there is less oxygen because as of now, we are still combating deforestation together with climate change. A second effect of this carbon presence in our atmosphere is its effect to global warming, its contributions to the warming of the Earth. As the Earth warms up, it continuously melts the ice in the poles. As the ice continues to melt in the poles, so does more low-lying areas will inevitably be flooded and submerged to the depths of the ocean. All these areas have some inhabitants in it, and animals on instinct will of course want to survive and thus will migrate to new places. It's just that not every place in Earth is well suited for them and can easily adapt to their presence. And so their introduction to these new ecosystems will disrupt that certain ecosystem.
To continue, as the main contributors to climate change are carbon emissions, primarily from fossil fuel combustions and industrial activities. By adding more carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, people are intensifying the natural greenhouse effect, leading to a rise in the Earth's temperature, heat entrapment, and alterations in the ecosystem. As a result of carbon emissions trapping heat in the atmosphere, changing weather patterns, and resulting in the habitat loss of innumerable animal species. In order to get food and shelter, certain creatures must now go over uncharted territory, which creates disputes and poses obstacles to their existence. Deforestation is a significant issue linked to carbon emissions, resulting in the loss of habitats. Deforestation involves the removal of forests and clusters of trees by humans for personal or commercial purposes. This activity can be highly detrimental, particularly to wildlife, as it disrupts their natural habitats, and when they cannot relocate, it leads to their extinction.
Is there anything we can do? Carbon emissions from both natural and human activities contribute to climate change and adversely affect the animal kingdom. Animals play a crucial role in the carbon cycle, but excessive carbon dioxide release disrupts their habitats and ecosystems. To protect them, we must transition to renewable energy, promote conservation, and support climate-friendly policies. Taking personal responsibility by reducing our carbon footprints and also ensures a healthier future for all living beings.